So good morning, everybody. Welcome to these seminars for lectures within the project, the European Key Action 2, Erasmus Plus Key Action 2 project. My name is Beatriz Plaza, and I am a professor at the University of the Basque Country and in Bilbao. We start now the seminars for lectures in connection with the emerging technologies. So before we start with the seminars, I will perform a very brief presentation on the project, on the seminars, so as we have the coordinates of these sessions. Can you hear me correctly?
Yes.
Lovely. Yes. So let's start. I will start by the presentation. We are in Education for Technological Literacy and Inclusion. It is Erasmus Plus Key Action 2 project, as you can see. And I would like to start by showing you the website. Okay. Can you see the website? This is the website of the project. Can you see the website? So
yes.
What is
we
this?
can see it.
Yes. What is this project about? Well, first of all, we are talking about innovation in teaching, okay? It is a key action tool, so this means that we generate materials in order to improve the qualifications of the lecturers, teachers, and professors who are involved in this project. In this case, the challenge is the following. We have experts in different fields. We have professors in cultural economics and culture management and urban planning. We have experts in international economics, but there is a challenge, and the challenge is the disruptive technologies that are arising in the economy and the society. And we felt that we needed to improve our teaching by including these new technologies in our teaching at the university level. We are all higher education institutions, except for the Indian partner, which I'm going to present later on, and who were also included in teaching at higher education level. And we all have the same goals, that we want to really include these last technologies, disruptive technologies in our teaching in the classrooms. So this is, let's say, the principal aim, the main aim of this project. The aim is to upgrade through innovation our teaching at university level. We are highly qualified people, but we need to upgrade in new technologies. Okay. So having explained about the project, now I will move on to the partners. The partners are the following. First, we have the Basque Country. I'm here, and these are the team members, which I'm not going to introduce you. You can have a look on the internet. Okay. The partners from the University of the Basque Country. Then we have the partners from Oporto, also, who are already online. I'm not going to introduce you. You already have it here online. Okay. Then we have the partners from the University of Navarre, the School of Architecture here. Okay. Okay. Then we have the Estonian Academy of Theatre and Music, already online. Okay. And here, partners. And last but not least, we have two European Union countries. One is Tajikistan, a former PhD student of ours from the Tajik State University of Commerce. Here are the team members, and also a partner from India, MBM Associates Planning and Sustainability. And I would like to underline that I am the coordinator of this project, and Maria Belén Mendizabal is the project manager of this project. Here are the partners from India. Okay, we are really pleased to have two non-European Union partners in this project. As we did have some before, but for the first time we have non-European Union ones. Having said this, okay, I'm going to explain a little bit about the seminars, which are the technologies we are going to implement in the seminars we are going to deliver this week. Okay. About the technologies, we will start by data science, and in data science we will include two fields. First, very basics, so data science with a very applied focus. Especially, we will apply it to culture management and culture economics. Why? Well, because we have been working together, this team, this consortium, for more than 10 years together. Okay, we have done common teaching, we have shared European projects, we have performed summer schools, we had some international conferences for more than 10 years, and this is why we will apply all the technologies to our fields of research. Okay, so we have the data science and coding and data science, which will be at the second step. Okay, coding applied to data science. Okay? The coding applied to data science and inference, which will be right after this one. So as we have all the data science set together. Okay. Then we have augmented reality. Data science will be by the University of the Basque Country, and coding on data science and inference would be by our Indian partners. Okay. Then we have augmented reality, which will be delivered by the Porto Polytechnic. Virtual reality, which will be delivered by University of Navarre. Streaming, which will be delivered by EMTA. Blockchain, that will be delivered by our partners from Tajikistan. Okay, and the coding in cybersecurity, which will be delivered by Indian partners, as mentioned, and as I mentioned before, coding applied to data science, which would be delivered just after this seminar between September and November. So as we connect the coding applied to data science with this data science session. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to close the website and move on to the presentation again. Okay. So you already know the website of this Education for Technological Literacy and Inclusion. And I would like to underline again that it is a project of teaching innovation, okay, of delivering value to students and delivering value to higher education stakeholders, be them professors, be them students, be them societal impact, okay? So everybody involved at the higher education level, we would like to implement an upgrade in connection with these disruptive technologies. Okay. 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 So this is this, as I told you, it is Erasmus Plus multilateral project. The project number is there, and you already have it available at the website. We would like to thank to our Indian partners for the lovely work they have done with the design of the website. So the congratulations goes for you. And all the materials from these seminars will be available on the project website over there. Why is this? It is like this because in all European Union projects, everything is open, okay? So all the intellectual outputs and all the teaching materials that are generated within the project will be available online. The recording will be available online, the PowerPoints would be available online, and the data sets will be available online, okay? So as we increase dissemination, okay? This week, we start by the data science, as I mentioned you at the beginning, with these online seminars for lectures. We have 4 full days of teaching for lectures, and then we have, later on, we will have 4 full days for teaching for students. We have this scheme of 4 full days teaching for lectures and 4 full days teaching for students at every single technology, okay? So somehow this is like a prototype, let's say. This week is the first time that we are delivering these online seminars for lectures, and well, it is a prototype somehow. We will evaluate the seminar and try to improve in the following online seminars for lectures and students. Okay. Today it is June 19th, so we have starts on Monday. Today is June 19th. Starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. It will finish around more or less approximately at 1 o'clock. Okay. So we will have teaching on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's it. And as I mentioned before, the coding for data science is between September and November. So as we make the connection between this seminar and on data science, very applied one, and the coding for data science, as we will use their open source software. Okay. As I mentioned before, they will be very practical, and I repeat again, I think it is important to underline that all the examples will be applied to culture management, or culture tourism, or culture tourist destination, urban planning, cultural investments in urban settings and evaluation methods, because this is our background and this is where we come from, okay? Okay. So having showed this first PowerPoint, I would like to share with you the second one. This one. This is scheduled for this week. Today we will have introduction to digital metrics. This will be right after this very brief presentation. Then we will have 10 minutes break before the second session will be on Google Trends, very applied through exercises and very brief as well. Then we'll have a third session, a much longer one on Google Analytics. Okay, we will enter the website and see, do some data mining and also somehow see what type of methodology we use with the Google Analytics data. I just wanted to underline that the regression analysis with cross-sectional data will be performed with data from Google Analytics. So we will approach Google Analytics from the regression analysis perspective to adjust causality on next Wednesday, okay? And then the regression analysis with time series, we will approach this topic on Thursday, okay? By using data from Google Analytics as well. So we start from a more, let's say, broad perspective, and then we learn how to perform the data mining of these applications, okay? And move on to causality, inference and causality. The more technical engineering related aspects like automated extraction of data would be performed by Yvonne Aramburu, okay? In the coding for data mining module, a seminar which will be delivered after in between September and November, okay? So everything in connection with automated extraction of data will be performed by Yvonne Aramburu, who unfortunately is traveling at this moment. He's away, okay? He will be away. He will connect. He's traveling to Vienna this week, okay? And he is the one who's in charge of this automated extraction of data through Python. We will use R and Python. Yeah? Sometimes we will use R for automated extraction of data, and sometimes we will use Python for automated extraction of data. I have included 4 articles here, down here, somehow to give a guideline of which are the focus, which is the focus we are going to use. First of all, here you have an article on GPS data, and we will perform network analysis of GPS tracking data in a cultural tourist destination, in this case, for the case of Bilbao. Then we'll have an article here on data mining in semantic networks and data mining in order to measure global positioning. This is a case study on automated extraction of data and performing network analysis. We will use this article tomorrow, and when we approach the network analysis methodologies. Then we have a third article on Google Analytics, some tips for microfilms, in which we perform the regression analysis with cross-sectional data, and we will go to the very basics, okay? Very basics, to analyze all the geometrical conditions that have to be fulfilled so as the models are correctly performed, okay? And last but not least, here we have the last article published in Tourist Management, in which we perform a regression analysis with time series, also applied to Google Analytics, okay? As I mentioned, this is very applied to this research field, and we will always stick to the cultural management perspective, and also the cultural infrastructures in an urban setting. These are the 2 fields in which we are moving. Okay. Any question? Okay, so let's start with the first presentation, if I may. This is stands for, can you see the PowerPoint? Data science seminars for lectures, information goods, and digital metrics.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's start this. The first session is about information goods and digital metrics. We will deliver the basics from the economic point of view, so as we will try to make the connection between the economic theory and the digital metrics. So the approach of these seminars is very practical, as I said, and trying to integrate it into the theory. Why is this? Because sometimes the statistics and econometrics are delivered without the framework and without the context. And we feel that the context is very important in all the research fields, okay? As I told you at the beginning, all the materials will be available online. Okay. The basics of information goods was developed by Shapiro-Barian by Harvard Business School, who published an article in 1999 entitled Information Rules: A Strategic Guide to Network Economy. And this is the key book in order to analyze global positioning of companies from a digital perspective and business models involved with the digital economics. Okay, so everything that is connected with digital metrics and the positioning of companies, of universities, of research centers, whatever institution in the internet and the business models is analyzed here. Okay. So let's start by defining the concept of information good. Information good is economic concept, okay, developed by Shapiro-Barian. Many of you, the economists, probably know Barian because he's very famous for his textbook in microeconomics. And they developed the basics of this digital economic framework at the late 90s. So they were first comers, okay? So what is information good? This is a economic concept. By digital good, we refer to any good that can be digitalized, okay? A book can be digitalized and could be transformed in a digital file, a song, newspapers, charts, photographs, everything that can be turned into digital could be information good, okay? And also there are commodities that provide value to consumers, okay? Because as a result of the information they contain, okay? So these information goods add value to the market, to the consumers. The basics of information goods from the supply side and from the demand side is the following. From the supply side means the production. Normally, the production of information goods perform very high cost, fixed costs, okay? The production, this means that, for example, a song, in order to produce a song, this is very expensive to produce it, okay? And sometimes there are some costs, okay, that are not so easy to recover, okay? And from the demand side, well, we can see that, well, from the, they do not get used when consumed, okay? And another characteristic is that the marginal cost of reproduction is close to zero, okay? I'll put an example on this. once you produce, it is difficult to produce a building, for instance, an iconic building, okay? It's quite expensive, and Asier Santas can talk about to us about this, okay? But once we have the images and they are digitalized, we can upload them to the internet, and the marginal cost of downloading these images is almost zero, okay, or very close to zero. So this means that it is easy to accumulate the consumption of images as far as they are iconic, okay? And this is one condition, which we'll see now, okay? So we had the definition of information goods, and now we'll move on to cultural information goods, okay? Which is the difference between information goods and cultural information goods? The main difference is the increasing marginal utility to consumption. And this seems a very complex concept, but it is quite easy. And I'll explain it through an example, okay? Let's go to the material world. And imagine that it starts raining and I have no umbrella, okay? So I go and I buy an umbrella. Which is the utility of that umbrella? The marginal utility of that umbrella is very high because it is raining and I need an umbrella to protect myself. So the margin utility is very high. Imagine that I get a little bit crazy and I think, oh, I'm going to buy a second umbrella, okay? So I buy, it is raining and I decide to buy the second umbrella. Which is the marginal utility of this second umbrella? It's much lower because I already have an umbrella before, it is raining, and really I don't need the second umbrella, okay? But then I become even more crazy, and then I decide to buy my third umbrella, okay? So, which is the marginal utility of this third umbrella? It is zero because I already have two umbrellas, okay? So in the material world, in the basics of economics, we always talk about decreasing marginal utility, okay? The utility of the first umbrella is very high, but the marginal utility of the second umbrella is low, and the marginal utility of the third umbrella is almost zero, okay? So at the Faculty of Economics, normally our students, they learn about the decreasing marginal utility of consumption. What happens with the cultural goods? When cultural goods are iconic, let's say that they are, by iconic, we mean that they are special, they are real pieces of art. There's something there that make them unique worldwide, no matter which continent or which country, okay? But everybody recognizes that there is something singular there, that there is beauty, and everybody recognizes that it is a real piece of art. What happens with these pieces of art? They are expensive to produce, obviously, it is true. But what happens from the demand perspective? For instance, I like Bon Jovi, okay? For the first time, when I listen Bon Jovi, It's My Life, I say, wow, I like this song very much. So which is the marginal utility of consumption? Well, it is not zero, it is positive because I appreciate this song by Bon Jovi. Then I listen the same song by Bon Jovi the second time, okay? It's My Life. And I think, wow, I like very much this song. Which is the marginal utility of the second time I consume this song by Bon Jovi? It is bigger than before. It is bigger than before because I listened the song twice and I like it more, okay? Because it is a real piece of art, okay? And then I listened to this song of Bon Jovi third time, fourth time, and the more I listen, the more I like it, to the point that even my haircut is a Bon Jovi haircut, okay? So this means that in the field of art and culture, we are talking about increasing marginal utility to consumption. When these culture goods are special, when they are unique, when they are singular, the more you consume them, the more you like them. Yeah? The more you consume them, the more you like them. And this is key, because this is not the economic theory which is delivered at the Faculty of Economics, okay? It is a totally different economic framework in this market. Why is this key? The mix between the cultural information goods and the information goods is key, because the digital characteristics and dissemination accelerates this process. Okay, we saw that the digital goods, culture goods, have high fixed sunk costs, but very low marginal cost of reproduction. I'll give you another example. Let's think of Galapagos Islands. Galapagos, I've never been in Galapagos, okay? Okay, but I know that there are some islands there that belong to Ecuador, and they have these lovely animals, gigantic animals that are unique and unique beauty in the Galapagos Islands. First, I start seeing this on the internet, consuming these pictures on the Galapagos Islands, which there's a paradise, okay? So I start consuming these photographs of the Galapagos Islands, and I think, oh, yeah, I love these animals, these turtles, the nature, the beauty of these animals, this countryside there, these islands that belong to Ecuador. I just love it, okay? But then I keep on consuming these images because I really like them, and because the marginal cost of consuming is zero. For me, it is easy to access the photographs of Galapagos. So I keep on consuming photographs on Galapagos because it is cheap for me. The more I consume it, the more I consume this beauty, the more I like it. The more I like it, because it is a culture good, okay, intensive in symbolic knowledge. The more I consume it, the more I like it. So, as a result of the increasing marginal utility for consumption. At one point, once there is a critical mass of consumption of these digital or cultural information goods, at one point I will change my mind and think, well, I have to travel to Galapagos. When the accumulation of critical mass of consumption of digital goods, cultural information goods, has reached the critical mass, my willingness to visit Galapagos will be very high, although transaction costs are very high, and I explain this now. I'm in Bilbao at this moment, okay? Very close to the French border in the European Union, in Europe, far away from Ecuador, which is a country in the American continent, okay? And the Galapagos Islands are even far away because they are in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, okay? But I have consumed so many pictures, so many lovely pictures on the Galapagos Islands, that at one point, when I reached the critical mass of accumulation, of consumption, of this beauty, of these photographs on the Galapagos Islands, I changed my mind and I decided to travel there to the Galapagos Islands, although they are very far away from here, okay? far away in terms of time, because I would have to catch a plane, to Madrid, from Madrid to Ecuador, and then to Ecuador to Galapagos Islands. So this would be more than 25 hours flights, or maybe 25 hours or 30 hours in total, apart from the financial costs. So the transaction costs are very high, very high. But when the critical mass of accumulation of consumption of information goods, cultural information goods, is enough, the behavior of consumers changes. Okay? The behavior of consumers changes, and the willingness to traveling changes as well. And this is possible due to the digital technologies. Okay, these behaviors didn't happen before. Okay, from the 90s, when the internet arose, all the behavior of travelers changed dramatically in connection with the cultural tourism. Okay, and the consumption of cultural information goods as we are seeing now. So this is a revolution. Revolution also of the business models. Okay, so the more I consume digital goods on cultural goods, the more I like them. Okay, so this is the increasing marginal utility of consumption of cultural goods, and it is easy for me to consume these cultural goods, digital goods, because they are quite cheap. Okay, they are online. You have these online lovely pictures, and I can consume them quite easily. Once I reach the critical mass of consumption, there's a change of my willingness to travel. At the beginning, I wasn't willing to travel to Galapagos because we are always very busy, and we have shortage of time, and also it's very expensive. But after having consumed tons of photographs on the lovely Galapagos Islands, I end up traveling to the Galapagos Islands. Okay, so there is a change in the behavior of consumers, and this is thanks to the internet. So there is a total change of paradigm. So we are talking about the economics of digital images. Here's the Taj Mahal. Okay, I've never been into Taj Mahal. Hopefully, I'll be there soon. It is a wonderful piece of art in India. Yeah. So the same applies to these unique pieces of art. Yeah. The more you consume the digital images of these singular pieces of art, once the more you like them, this only happens with singular goods. Not any good is like this. Okay, so there have to be real beauty, real singular pieces of art. So the more I consume the images of Taj Mahal, once I reach the critical mass, I would be willing to visit there. So I change my willingness to travel there. Thanks to the marginal, very low reproduction cost in the internet. Okay. It also applies to the semantic world. Here we have checked for in Google for Bilbao International Art and Fashion, which is a fashion contest held here in Bilbao. And we checked for the first 5 pages, the titles, which are the titles that appear in Google. We are employing Google because it is the main search engine employed in the European Union. Okay, so we collected all the websites titles in connection with all the websites that appear once we look for Bilbao International Art and Fashion. And these are the co-citations. These are the co-citations that appear in the 5 first pages when I look for Bilbao International Art and Fashion. We are talking about the Google PageRank. We'll see tomorrow that the Google PageRank is an eigenvector, okay? And the search engine builds up a ranking of websites in connection with these keywords, Bilbao International Art and Fashion, okay? And these are digital goods. These words on the internet behave as a digital good, okay? The marginal cost of reproduction is almost zero, okay? And the more connected they are, the higher the visibility on the internet. So the same rules apply, okay? So this is an information good from economic perspective. These semantic words is information good also from the economics perspective. This is also information good from the economic perspective, the cognitive computation with big data nowadays. Imagine that I have some savings and I would like to invest in the stock exchange, okay? And somehow I have decided to invest in one specific company, but I would like to get to know whether this company is environmental friendly, is social friendly, and what type of governance schemes they have in the company. So I will start by checking all the annual reports, all the websites, and so on. What happens? That I have a shortage of time, as you have. So I will go to big data and try to achieve a high quality summary of everything which is available online on this company. And this is called the cognitive computation, okay? Cognitive computation. Once I have the briefing, apart from the financial issues, indexes obviously, at one point I see that this company is environmental friendly, I see that this company is social friendly, and I can see that the governance schemes are according to my values. Okay, so I decide to invest in this company. This is an information good. From the economic point of view, this is the information good. Okay, the same rules are fulfilled in this market as well. Okay, it is the same, and more and more we are getting into this cognitive computation. Hopefully, we will develop a special session next year on cognitive computation. Okay, which is applying artificial intelligence to data science. So we will have, now we are delivering the basics of data science in connection with culture tourism and cities and culture tourism. Then we will apply coding for data science, and hopefully next year we'll deliver artificial intelligence applied to data science. And this is big data, okay? We have new metrics based on digital data, like the credit cards you see there. It is not difficult nowadays to buy a credit card, geo-localized consumption patterns connected to credit cards. You can see there these maps. They are geolocated. The consumption patterns are geolocated, so as it's not difficult to achieve this type of data. Geolocation of credit card expenses in a city, in a cultural destination, for instance. As you can see down here, so we drew here a map in which you can see where expenditure is higher and where expenditure is lower, okay, according to the big data, geolocated big data connected to credit cards. And obviously this has a very direct impact on the land prices, okay, because the consumption patterns of land has a very direct influence on prices. And also, for instance, the Twitter sentiment analyzer. We are not going to develop it now, but you're already experts in this field, and it is possible to analyze the sentiment through coding applied to data science. And the sentiment in Twitter, for instance, whether it is positive or whether it's negative, or even the emails in the company. Nowadays, when you apply this sentiment analyzer in the emails, huge, we are talking about very big companies, okay? They have this big data instruments. It is artificial intelligence applied to data science, in which they analyze their emails, okay? And they apply the sentiment analyzer, whether these emails are more positive or these emails are more negative, or so as they can take decisions in advance. Obviously, we have ethical issues here, okay? Ethical concerns here in connection with privacy. When we apply all these artificial intelligence run technologies applied to data science, okay? But for big companies, it's very easy to analyze the sentiment of the emails of the company, okay? Here we have Google Analytics. As I mentioned before, nowadays words and the internet are information goods, and they have economic value on the market. Okay. Here we see the traffic sources. We will analyze this in a later session in a more technical way, but this is just the first approach to the words. Here the research question is it possible to analyze the positioning, semantic positioning of words? And the answer is yes, okay? Is it possible to analyze in an unbiased, very reliable way from a statistical point of view? And the answer is yes, it is very possible. And we will analyze it in the last session, okay? Here, nowadays words online have a value, have a market value, okay? And it is possible to analyze the positioning of these words on the internet. Here you have the article, you can access it, but we will analyze this in the fourth session today, okay? And other metrics, for instance, telephone calls are information goods. It is a digital good, so it is information good. Flickr photos, for instance, Instagram, everything, social media. We have tons and tons of information good online, and we can access these information goods and analyze them from the metrical perspective in order to see whether this city is attractive from a cultural tourism perspective, and which is the positioning of the city, okay? Here we have the study performed by Ivona Arburu Plaza and Marisol Esteban, and we analyzed we performed the GPS tracking for the culture tourist in Bilbao. Okay? We know culture tourists come from Bilbao for the Guggenheim. This is very clear. But the question was, okay, they come to Bilbao for the Guggenheim Museum, but where do they stay mainly? Which is the territorial consumption of space, okay? Which is the territorial consumption of space? Do they consume the space which is close to the Guggenheim, or do they consume other type of space? And we will explain this tomorrow in connection with network analysis, okay? Because we perform network analysis with GPS data. Okay? It is possible to use this network analysis with GPS data and to check whether the result of this GPS data is biased or unbiased. Here we have the network analysis applied to GPS data, which we're going to see tomorrow. Okay. Apparently, at first sight, you see, maybe we could see that this is the old part. Here we have the river, Nervión, Gran Vía. So the yellowish parts would be the land in which you have a higher number of tourists and they stay more. So at first sight, we could say that they stay more in the Plaza Nueva, okay, around the Guggenheim here, and also at the end of Gran Vía. But we need to check it with network analysis. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And just to finish this first session, we wanted to give some statistics on which is the GDP nowadays in connection with the data economics. For instance, in Germany, we are talking about 3.3% of GDP connected with the data economics, okay? So this means that more and more we have economy which is not tangible at all, and more we have new sectors that are being run by data economics, okay? So this is the future. It is the present and it is the future. Probably we will reach within 5 years about 7% of the GDP run by data economics. Okay. Okay, so having said this, I would like to thank you all for being here. We have finished the first presentation and we will have a 10 minutes break now. So see you in 10 minutes. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Beatriz.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you in 10 minutes.